Justice, it's already 6 p.m. and you're still not home yet.
I'm sorry, Paige. I'm gonna be home a little late tonight.
What? Why? You and I promised that today would be the day we would go out for dinner together. And you said you'd make sure you got home early from work today, right?
And, well, I was called to go over to my mom's house. I'm on my way to her place right now.
Your mom again? Can't you just tell her no on a day like today? We already made the reservations at the restaurant and everything tonight.
I'm sorry. I was thinking of saying no to her this time, but my mom has become a bit hysteric. Now, you can either cancel that reservation, or you can try to get one of your friends to go with you to the restaurant tonight.
I was really looking forward to going out to eat with you, Justice.
I'm really sorry, Paige.
What does your mom even want with you today?
She's told me that her AC has gone out and she can't get it to come back on. She wants me to take a look at it before she has to call an HVAC technician to come take a look at it. Actually, she already gave one place a call about it, but they told her they couldn't get to her until next week.
Then why can't she just wait until next week and leave us alone? Your mom is always calling you over to her house for the stupidest reasons, isn't she? Because of her, you and I are never able to go out with one another anymore. You really need to start saying no to her.
Even if I say no to her, she won't listen. She will just keep texting and calling me until I go. It all just drives me up the wall.
But it's literally every single week she's calling you over to her place for pretty much no reason. Tell her to give you some freaking time off or something. I was thinking today was finally our chance to be with one another again on a date after such a long hiatus.
But my mom's back is pretty bad these days, and she needs a man around the house to help her out. The fact that her AC is now out means that the inside of her house could get really cold tonight. I can't just leave her there to freeze all night as her son. So, I've got to be there to do something, right? I'm worried about her as well.
I understand you always wanting to worry about her, considering she's living on her own now. You don't want to say no to her when she asks for something. You've always been the kind of guy making sure your parents have been okay and without any troubles. But I really think that your mom is asking for your help too often.
I myself believe that my mom has still not gotten over the fact that I've left her home and have a family of my own now.
Look, Justice, I'm sure you haven't really noticed this yet, but I'm starting to feel like all your mom is wanting to do is take you away from me. Every time she calls for you to go over to her place, she only asks for you.
You think that's the case?
Your mom has never really thought of me all that well, right?
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's true.
I can understand that sometimes she's wanting to see you for real, but there might also be a little bit of her wanting you away from me. She's trying to make sure that you and I don't spend a lot of time together, and she's also making sure that I don't come over to see her any. I really do think that your mom has something against me, and this is her way of taking it out on me.
I'm sorry about this, Paige. I'm sure my mom is just really lonely at home. But if I bring up how you're feeling about this, I'm sure she'll start to realize that she can't call me over to her place all the time anymore.
I would really like her to stop doing all of that now, though. It's been over 2 years now since you married me and left your parents' house, right? Does she have any idea what she's doing calling her married son back home like this all the dang time?
I wondered the same thing. It's strange. I'll make sure to talk to my mom directly about this. All right?
I really think you should. If you don't, who knows when the next time will be that you and I can be with one another.
That's true. I'm so sorry for always leaving you empty-handed like this.
You shouldn't have to apologize to me for that. It's your mom that's been doing this to me. Just make sure that today you have a good talk with her about how she's tearing you and I apart. I don't want her feeling as though she can keep doing something like this to us forever.
All right. I'll let you know how it all goes when I'm on my way home.
Sounds good. I'm gonna cancel that reservation we had now. I'll just make something for dinner with what we have at home. I'm sure you'll be eating dinner with your mom again as well, so I'll only be making something for myself.
I'm sorry. I'm expecting it to be a few hours here, but I'm sure I'll see you before you go to bed tonight.
I made sure to go out today and pick up your favorite whiskey you love to drink. It was a bit more expensive than I thought it would be, but since this is our anniversary, who cares? I've already finished up making dinner for the both of us as well now. So, hurry up and get home to me.
I'm sorry, Paige. I'm really sorry. But today it's looking like I'll be late again. You can go ahead and eat before me, all right?
What? Why? Why are you going to be late today? Don't tell me that even today, your mom again?
Yeah, it's about my mom again. She called me to go back to her house this evening.
Come the hell on now, Justice. Today is the day of our anniversary, for crying out loud. Your mom should even be aware of such a date as that.
Today it seems like one of her friends will be having their funeral today. So she asked that I come out to see her. She wants me to drive her there since she can't drive herself anymore.
Tell her to ride the bus or get a taxi or something. There's no way she needs you to go all the way out there again on a day like today to do something as simple as that.
I'm sure the funeral is too far away for her to use a taxi cheaply. And she has a lot of things she wants to bring along with her, so the bus would be too difficult as well. She'll need someone with a lot of muscle like me to carry them all.
This is screwed up. Your mom knows that today is the day of our anniversary for sure, and that's why she's doing this to us, right? How screwed up does one have to be to do all of this? Justice, you've talked with your mom already about how she's been acting, right? Why is this still going on?
I already told her that today wouldn't work. But she told me that if I don't go out and get her, she'd cut ties with me. There was no way for me to say no to her in the end.
The fact that she said she'd cut ties with you like that is ridiculous. She's threatening you now in order to get you away from me, and you're letting that happen. If I were you, I would have just told her to cut ties to you then, because I wouldn't budge. I can't believe you're just letting this happen to us.
I understand, but I really can't say no to her.
Hey, do you remember what we promised one another back when we got married?
Of course I remember the promise.
We made sure to promise that every anniversary we had, we would celebrate it together on the day of. But recently, you and I haven't even been able to have dinner together. I can understand if you have to stay late for work and whatnot, but recently it's all been because of your dang mom that you're never around. Can we even call ourselves a married couple anymore when things are this distant?
I'm really so sorry that I broke our promise. Because of this, I'll make sure to give my mom an earful.
Will you really, though? This has been going on for months now, Justice, and you already told me that you talked to her before about this. So are you really going to give her an earful this time and have her listen? I'm getting tired of the same old crap happening.
Please believe in me. You still love me, don't you?
Of course I still love you. But that's what's making this all so difficult for me.
Well, this time you have to believe in me. I'll make sure something like this never happens to us again. I'll even do my best to get home from my mom's as soon as possible. I'm sure this is all really painful for you, but I just need you to wait a little longer.
Iris, so is this how you want to treat me all the time? You must know what day today is for Justice and I. And yet you took him away from me and have kept him away until this late at night. Is that really how you're going to play your games with me now? What? How I want to treat you? Paige, what has gotten into you all of a sudden? I would really like you to stop playing dumb here, please. You have to know exactly what the hell is going on here right now more than anyone else. What is this all about? It's 8 o'clock at night right now, right? Did I do something to make you upset recently? You've been calling my husband to go back home to you pretty much every single day now. I've been putting up with it for months now, but I can't do it anymore. I can't keep sitting back and letting you take him away from me. I can't believe that you'd even ask for him to go home to you on our anniversary of all days as well. Stop that. Because of you always calling him home, I've never been able to spend much time with him anymore. Do you really hate me that much where you have to go do this to me all the freaking time? What? I haven't been able to see my son for months now, though. What do you mean I've been calling for him so much? What the heck is going on here, Paige? What are you talking about? Iris, you've been calling your son to go back to your house all the time after he gets out of work, right? Even today, you asked for him to come over to your place so he could take you out to your friend's funeral, right? I'm sorry? I really have no idea what you're going on about right now, Paige. There was no funeral for any friends of mine today, and your husband never came by my house to see me. I've been home all day and he's never stopped by. But that's what my husband told me today. I'm really sorry, but I have no recollection of what you're talking about. And these days, I barely get any calls or texts from him in general. Are you sure there isn't some sort of mix-up here? What? So you're telling me that you really haven't been the one taking him away from me? That's what he tells me all the time as the reason for never being home with me. Ever since the two of you got married, I have never asked for my son to come back home and see me. Not once. I have no reason to be asking him to come home considering he's with you now. And if I ever were to call him over, I'd ask that he bring you along with him to my house. But Justice is always telling me about how he's asked by you to go to your house all the time to help you with all sorts of things. He tells me about how it's hard for you living on your own. I have not been asking for his help. If there ever is something that I can't handle going on my own, I ask one of the neighbors to come over and help. If you guys actually lived close by, I'd be asking for help at times. But it's about an hour by car to make it all the way out here, right? An hour and a half, actually. I would never call him out here to help me with a drive like that here and back. So you're telling me this means my husband is lying to me? Because he's still leaving the house all the time. How often has my son been saying that he needs to come out and see me? At least once a week. And during certain weeks, it will be every other day he says he needs to go back to help you. That often? It's been about a year now that he's been telling me he needs to stay out late or leave the house to go and see you. And for the past few months, it's been happening so often that I'm going crazy. What the hell is that kid doing right now? Paige, I am so sorry that all of this has gotten you so worked up. No worries. I'm sorry for being lied to and making the mistake of blaming you for all that's been going on with Justice. You don't have to apologize to me for that. The fact that you've had to put up with all that for a year now is so crazy to me. I'm sure you're exhausted now, right? I wish you would have come to me about all of this a lot sooner if you had been so upset with me. I thought that it would be best for me not to confront you about it, so I never got around to saying anything to you. What? Why didn't you want to come to me, though? Because my husband was telling me about how he heard you talking about me like you didn't like me at all. He then told me that since you hate me so much, you would never take a call from me or answer any of my texts. That's why I thought it was better to refrain from talking to you at all. Hold on a second. Justice has been saying all of that as well? Yes? I've been told those same exact things from him as well, though. He's told me that you don't really like talking to me that much, so it was best that I never contacted you. What? I've never had anything personal against you, besides what I was being lied to about. I was hoping that you and I could become close family after the wedding and everything. So when I heard that you hated me and never wanted to talk, I was devastated. And I was feeling the same way when he told me that you didn't like me at all. I don't hate you, Paige, and I never have. But when I heard from Justice that you didn't like me, I was shocked. I just assumed maybe that's just how things are going to be between you and I, and didn't make any attempts to call or text you. That's why I've been so distant from you. Has this really been happening? This whole time I've believed that you've really hated me. And I was under the impression that the reason you were calling for my husband to go home to you was to make sure that him and I couldn't spend any time together. Are you kidding me? I would never do something like that to you. I was so happy when I found out you'd be getting married to my son. That's why I wanted for you and I to become so much closer to one another. I'm so happy to hear that. I feel a little bit less upset now after hearing that. Having to live for the past year thinking that you hated my guts was so tough for me. I'm sure it was. I totally understand how you feel right now. But now we have to think what made my son lie to us this much. What has he been thinking, lying to both his own mother and his wife like that, causing us both to go through hell? I wonder. The fact that he'd go to such lengths to keep you and I apart means there must be something he's hiding. I wonder if he's been trying to get me to freak out over you by always making me feel like you were the one to blame for all of this. There is something very wrong going on with that man, isn't there? I cannot believe my son would do something so horrible to us. Paige, I am so very sorry for what my son's done. You and I need to work together right now to figure out all that he's been hiding from you and I. If there's anything you need from me, you let me know right away. Thank you so much, Iris. For the first time, I'm going to start following my husband around to see what he's up to.
I'm gonna be a bit later than usual tonight, alright? I'm really sorry, Paige, but I'll make sure that today of all days, my mom listens to me.
You don't have to do that. I've made sure to talk with her already.
What do you mean?
I spoke with her about why she's calling you over to her house so often. I made sure to give her a piece of my mind.
Huh? You're lying, right?
Not at all. And actually, about your mom, she's with me right now at this moment.
What?
And something else, she's been telling me about how she hasn't even seen you for the past couple of months. Tell me what all of this is about, Justice.
Wait, why are you with my mom right now? Are you telling me the truth?
Back on the day of our anniversary, you never came back home to celebrate with me, right? I'd had enough at that point, so I made sure to text your mom then and tell her how upset I was with her. But then she started to tell me that she'd been hearing things from you, and things changed between the both of us. She told me about how she had never once asked for you to go back home to help her out.
No, there's something about that actually.
Tell me what that something is that made you lie to the both of us like that. Tell me where you went on the night of our anniversary that made you stand me up.
I want you to listen to me without getting angry. First, I want to make this one thing clear. I didn't stand you up like that on the night of our anniversary because I wanted to.
I am asking you where you went on the night of our anniversary. I never said I wanted to hear your reasoning for it yet. And once I've heard where you went, then I can let you know whether or not I'm going to be angry about it.
All right. Okay.
But do know that I'm not going to let you lie to me anymore. Don't think that you can fool myself or your mom anymore. Enough of your games. Just tell me what's been going on here, Justice.
I'm sorry. I was lying all the time about going over to my mom's house because I was going over to another woman's place. She was the actual person calling for me to come over.
And?
I'm sorry. I've been cheating on you.
So it seems like you're not going to try to lie to me about this time. Understood. Then let's begin talking about how things are going to go for us here on out.
Wait a second, please. This was all just fun and games. Nothing more than that.
But you made it pretty clear to me that you were prioritizing being with her over me, right? Are you sure you don't care more about that woman than you do me?
Of course I don't care more about her.
Then why have you been lying to me about all of that? So much that you even stood me up on our anniversary. You lied not only to me, but to your own mom as well. And if it was all just for fun and games, then you shouldn't have been too worried about making all that last for a whole freaking year.
She was threatening me. She told me that if I didn't keep coming to her place to mess around, that she'd tell you about what I was doing. I had no choice but to keep going to her place to see her. I was not standing you up like that all the time because I wanted to.
The fact that you went a full year keeping all of that hidden from me is why I can't forgive you for it. If she was threatening you to stay with her, then you could have told me that and I wouldn't have minded one bit. But instead, you were just letting it play out, right? And not just that, but you were making it look like your mom hates me while doing it. Because you couldn't just tell us the truth. You hurt me, making it seem like your mom hates me and that I wasn't liked by your family.
I'm sure this has hurt you a lot, but I was thinking that if you found out about all this, you'd leave me. And that was scary. If you were to end up throwing me away or something, I wouldn't be able to carry on.
What a bunch of BS coming out of that mouth of yours.
But I'm being honest with you right now. I think of you as more important than anyone else in my life.
If you really viewed me as being that important to you, then you would have never even cheated on me in the first place.
I'm so sorry for that. I know what I did was wrong. And I'm gonna make sure I never see her again now. So please, forgive me for all of this.
Are you sure you can cut ties with her that easily? The woman you've been cheating on me with, she's pregnant now with your child, right?
Why do you know about that?
It's been a few weeks now since I first started talking with your mom about this. You have to understand that we've both been very curious about what you've been doing, and so we took time to look around and look into things. That's why it's best you don't hide anything from me anymore as we talk.
Is that right? I'm so sorry. I think that I've been a real idiot.
Not just an idiot, though, but an actual dumbass by the looks of it. Your mom was crying about all of this.
I made sure to take all the right steps in order to not get her pregnant, though. But at one point, she told me she was pregnant. This led to her feeling more and more sick from being pregnant. And that's why recently I've had to go over to her place so much. Please believe me. I was trying my very best to make sure I wouldn't get her pregnant.
I don't want to hear about all of that. I would rather vomit right now than listen to all that.
I'm sorry. I have to think about the kid now. And I wanted to make it clear to you as well that this is going on. But I'm telling you that the kid she's carrying is a complete accident. I've been planning to end things between her and I for a while now. I told you I'd make her listen to me, right?
I don't care that you have been trying so hard not to have a kid with her because you were still sticking your thing into her pretty much every night, right? That negates any chance of me believing that her getting pregnant was really an accident. Why are you still trying to act like a victim here? I can't believe you try and call that an accident when it's pretty simple that when a man has sex with a woman, she can become pregnant. It's too late for you to do anything about it now because she is carrying your kid. You might as well marry her now.
Please don't say something like that to me. I did not make that kid with her because I wanted to. She might have tricked me into getting her pregnant. Maybe she poked a hole in the condom or something. Or maybe she stopped taking her birth control. She was already talking about how if her and I had a kid together, we'd have to get married.
Even if she tricked you into having that baby with her, you're still at fault for cheating on me with her, right? You have to take responsibility for that part. I no longer want to be married to you anymore, Justice. So, go and marry her now.
I will not marry her. The only woman I'm in love with is you, Paige. Had she never been threatening me to keep meeting with her, I would have stopped cheating on you long ago.
Well, I don't trust any of that one bit, though. Honestly, I want to know why you didn't just leave me for her already. You seem to have a lot invested in a woman like her, so why not just leave me?
That woman works all through the night.
So what?
I don't want to make a woman that works all night at places like those my wife. Those places are filled with stupid and useless women, right? I don't want a wife like that.
Huh? What the hell is wrong with you? I'm sure you first met up with her at one of those places, Justice. You went there to have your fill of sex and thrills, and now you're going to call all the women that work there stupid and useless? Get real. I guess that means you like to pay stupid and useless women to entertain you then, huh? Must mean you're even less than useless, which makes total sense to me. Considering you just got her pregnant and are planning on leaving her now after you just called her line of work awful and herself stupid. You're just a waste of freaking oxygen, Justice. Do you even have the slightest idea of how messed up you really are?
I'm just trying to say that the woman I've been going out with is nothing compared to a lady like you, Paige.
I'm not happy to hear anything like that, though. All you're doing is making yourself look like an even worse person than I was already imagining. I am not trying to defend the women you've been going out with, but the fact that you just want to get up and leave her now after making a baby is insane.
But the only woman I want to call my wife is you. You're telling me to take responsibility for my actions, but that would mean I'd have to leave you and marry her now. I can't do that.
Why do you feel as though you can continue to stay married to me after all you've done? I'm going to throw you away whether you like it or not. Don't you dare forget that.
Don't. Please. Please.
I have to now, because there's no way to handle this besides a divorce. I'll have my lawyer get in touch with you later about everything you need to know about the divorce.
Wait, please? I will not agree with you on the divorce. I don't want to.
Then you go and tell that to my lawyer, please. They'll be able to inform you of the reality of this divorce, though. And remember, no matter how hard you try and fight this divorce, I will be ready to push back even harder and get it. Even if that means taking all of this to a courtroom and having the judge decide.
Why? Up until now, you and I have been doing so well. Can you really just cut our relationship apart like this without feeling any regrets? You were never the type of woman to do such heartbreaking things like that.
The reason I've become this way is because of you. And I do not want to talk about the person you thought I was when you're nothing like the man I married. I never married a man that would think it's okay to run away from the woman he just got pregnant. I'm over you, Justice. You're going to take care of that child whether you want to or not.
No way. Why is this happening to us? I was having to deal with that woman calling me back to her house all the time for you. For us.
You are doing all of that for your sake, right? Don't you ever say to me again that you are cheating and lying to me like that for my sake. The reason this is happening to you now is because you were trying to have a good life with both that woman and me. And if you want to be upset at someone for all of this happening, then be upset with your lying, cheating, dumbass self. After that, I made sure to take care of all the divorce papers with my lawyer and leave their business card at the house before leaving it. My husband tried to make it home as fast as possible to meet with me, but when he got home to a half-empty house and me not in it, he started to cry before calling my lawyer. He also called me right before that, but as he should have already been aware of, I was not going to change my decision. My lawyer was in some talks with my husband for a few days after that, and after it started to look as though nothing would happen, my lawyer told me the divorce was settled on. Of course, in this divorce, I'd also be getting a settlement from my ex and the woman he impregnated. My mother-in-law then called me saying how sorry she was for her son and everything, and that she didn't expect me to forgive her. But of course I did forgive her, as this let me realize just how kind and supporting of a person she really is. Thinking about how much my husband had tried to ruin things between her and myself, I will never be able to forgive him for that either. When it comes to the woman Justice had gotten pregnant, she went back to her hometown to have her baby. In the end, Justice did end up throwing her away and ran away from the responsibilities he had created for himself. He really is a terrible person in general and will burn in hell one day for all of the horrible things he's done. Although Justice thought he had gotten away with running away from that woman and the baby, sometime later he got a notice in the mail saying he needed to appear in court and she was going to fight him for child support. To this day, those two have been at the courthouse fighting it out. That all has nothing to do with myself now, but I do think he needs to be held responsible for everything he's created. All of this, that was things I heard about from Iris, by the way. But when she heard about him still fighting that woman in court, she officially gave up on him and cut ties. And that's why we'll never really know how things end there. But considering that the kid isn't at fault or anything, I pray that they will be raised in a good environment, not affected by the monster that cheated on me and tried to throw the kid and their mother away. As for myself, I'm on my own now. I'm over being married to anyone now, and would much rather enjoy the rest of my life being single and happy. I've been able to be myself now, and because of that, I'm able to do whatever I want when I want without someone holding me back. I'm going to crush all those bad memories of that jerk of an ex and make sure there's no time to regret any of the past.